Okay, good. Uh, Now, uh, we are going to discuss about some special cases made in vector addition theorem. We have discussed about vector parallelogram principle. So we are going to discuss about some special cases in that principle. Okay. There are a topic. Maximum and minimum resultant vector. Maximum and minimum values of resultant vector. Maximum and minimum values of resultant vector. Okay. Pute, suppose you are given two vectors. That means those two vectors are given. Okay? Now you have to determine the maximum and minimum resultant force of those two vectors. That means now there are two vectors. You are given two vectors Q and P. You are given two vectors P and Q. So according to the arrangement of those two vectors, the resultant force may vary. That means the value of resultant force can be varied according to the arrangement. Arrangement means according to the directions of those vectors. Okay? Therefore, we need to determine what would be the maximum resultant force and what would be the minimum resultant force that can be taken by these two vectors. Where resultant force means resultant vector. What would be the maximum resultant vector and the minimum value of the resultant vector when two vectors are added? Okay. Okay. When two vectors are added, the resultant vector may vary according to this angle. According to the vector parallelogram theorem, resultant vector is equal p square plus q square plus 2pq cos theta. Now, p and q are given. P and q means those are two given vectors. That means their value, we know that values. But according to this angle, R may vary. So if we are use suppose now there are two vectors 3 and 4. 3 and 4. 3 Newton and 4 Newton. Suppose this is 3 Newton and this is 4 Newton. So if this angle is 60, there would be a value. So if this angle is 90, then that value, the resultant force may vary. Therefore, according to this angle, the resultant force may vary. Therefore, you need to determine what would be the maximum and what would be the minimum resultant force of two given vectors. Actually, not force, vector. What would be the maximum and minimum resultant vector of two given vectors? Okay. Then draw this one. Just draw this one. Draw this one and okay. You can write this one also. Right under that. The resultant vector of two given vectors. The resultant vector of two given vectors varies according to the angle between them. According to the angle between them. Look at this one. Then, okay, don't write anything. So, as we discussed now, resultant vector varies according to the angle because now P and Q are given, therefore we know these values, therefore those are constants. But according to this angle, resultant force may vary. So, that means R will be maximum. R will be maximum is the resultant force will be maximum when cos theta is a maximum. When cos theta is a maximum. When cos theta is a maximum, R will be maximum. R will be maximum. Okay. Because those are constant, therefore we know those values put there. Those values. Therefore, when this value is a maximum value, definitely R will be a maximum. When this value is a minimum value, R will be minimum. Therefore, the maximum resultant force occurs when cos theta is a maximum. The minimum resultant force or resultant vector occurs when cos theta, not theta, but cos theta. Here there's a cos theta. Cos theta is that clear? If it is clear, please give me a comment. If it is clear, please raise your hand. Thank you. Okay. That means R depends on cos theta. So when cos theta is a maximum, definitely R will be a maximum. When cos theta is a minimum, R will be minimum. So according to our trigonometric knowledge, if you know about the unit circle, okay, What is cos axis? So this is cos axis, no? This is sine axis. Therefore, cos axis varies from +1 to -1. No? These are also +1 to -1. Therefore, the maximum cos value is +1, minimum cos value is -1. So, any cos value cannot get a value beyond +1 or beyond -1. Therefore, cos values varies in between +1 to -1. Not only cos values, sine value also varies from +1 to -1 in between those two values. Therefore, the maximum cos value is +1, minimum cos value is -1, as well as sine. Maximum sine value is +1, minimum sine value is -1. So, according to our knowledge about trigonometry, if you know about the unit circle, it is very easy to determine what is the maximum and minimum of cos values. Therefore, the maximum cos value is +1, minimum cos value is -1. Therefore, R will be maximum when cos theta is a maximum. So, what is the maximum cos theta value? The maximum cos theta value is +1. Therefore, if you apply +1 here, +1 means just 1 put it. 1. So, if you apply 1 here, then maximum R is equal P square plus Q square plus 2PQ. 2PQ. Here, 1 put it. So, what is this one? What is this one? So, if you arrange, so R square. Make R square. R square is equal P square plus Q square plus 2PQ. That means this is equal P square. Make a 2PQ plus Q square. So, what is this? What is this? P square plus 2PQ plus Q square means this is equal to P plus Q entire square, no? Whole square. Therefore, R maximum square is equal. Now, this is P plus Q whole square. So, if you simplify this one, then P squared here, then PQ squared here, then multiplication, 2 times of multiplication of these two. Therefore, this value is equal P plus Q whole square. Therefore, R square is equal P plus Q square. Therefore, R maximum is equal P plus Q. P plus Q. So, this is the maximum value of resultant vector. Therefore, the maximum value of resultant vector is equal to the addition. So, definitely, cos theta is +1. Cos theta is equal to +1 when this angle is 0. When this angle is 0, when the angle is 0, cos theta is equal to +1. Therefore, this occurs when this angle is 0. When this angle is 0 means when both vectors are into the same direction. Cos theta is equal to the +1. So, this happens when theta is equal to 0. When theta is equal to 0. Theta 0 means this angle is 0. This angle is 0 means both vectors are into the same direction. Both vectors into the same direction. So then now it is very clear, no? It is very clear. So if there are 5 Newton force into this direction, as well as 10 Newton forces into this direction, what is the resultant force to the resultant vector? Now it is very clear. The resultant vector is equal 5 plus 10 is 15. No? That's why we add them. When you are doing, when you were doing O level, actually you had this kind of calculation. If both vectors are in the same direction, you can add them. This is the reason. This is the reason. When theta is 0, when theta is 0, when theta is 0, cos value is equal plus 1. Cos value is equal plus 1 means R maximum is equal P plus Q. That means you have to add it. Therefore, this occurs when theta equals 0. Theta equals 0 means putting both P and Q are into the same direction. That means Q are into the same direction. Same direction. मैं बात कर रहा हूँ Q में बात कर रहा Is that clear? If you got that down, please raise the hand. If you got that down, please raise the hand. I need responses from everyone. Katakan ulangnya katakan nih kepada mana kepada boring kan. Okay. Are you can? Okay. Ulangan nah. Write this one. Write this one. Therefore, R will be maximum when cos theta is a maximum. R will be minimum when cos theta is a minimum. When cos theta is a minimum. Okay. Then write a small subtopic finding R maximum. Under that topic, write this one. So you can write an example 2 with a 5 Newton, 10. If we apply 5 Newton and 10 Newton forces into the same direction, then this will be equivalent to 15 Newton single force. 15 Newton single force. Okay, with it. Have finished? Okay, then now we can find the minimum value. The minimum value of R. The minimum value. Okay. As we discussed earlier, R squared is equal P squared plus Q squared plus 2PQ cos theta. Therefore, those are constant. If P and Q are given, if P and Q are given, those are some non-constant values put in. Therefore, R depends on cos theta only. Therefore, R will be minimum. R will be minimum when cos theta is a minimum. When cos theta is a minimum. When cos theta is a minimum. Therefore, you know the minimum cos theta value. The minimum cos theta value. The minimum cos theta value is this one, Pute. This one. Minus 1. Therefore, minus 1 comes when theta is 180 degree. When theta is 180, cos value is minus 1. Therefore, minimum cos value is minus 1, Pute. It comes when theta is equal 180 degree. 180. 180. Therefore, this angle Q, here P. Therefore, this angle should be the 180. This angle should be 180. Therefore, 180 means to take Q should be turned into this side. It should be turned into this side. Therefore, these two are two opposite forces. These are two parallel but in opposite direction. One P is in this direction. If you turn Q into 180 degree, it will be into the opposite direction. It will be into the opposite direction. Therefore, now P and Q are two opposite vectors. They are into the opposite directions. They are into the opposite direction. Therefore, Q is in this side, P is in this side. P is in this side. Okay, now you know cos theta is minus 1. Therefore, here you have to apply minus 1, minus 1. That means P square plus Q square plus minus 2PQ. So you can write this one as P square minus 2PQ plus Q square. Therefore, this is our minimum. Therefore, R minimum squared is equal P squared minus 2PQ. Q squared means P minus Q whole square. Then if you expand this expression, it will have P squared 2 times PQ means 2 times minus PQ, then Q squared. Therefore, this value or this expression is equal P minus Q whole square. No. This is short term. This is a short term. Instead of writing minimum, you can write MIM. Okay? Minimum. That is a short term. Minimum and maximum. This is not a simple. It is a short term. Minimum, maximum. Max M kailangan po yun. Sa max kailangan po, sabi ko, minimum kailangan po. Aulan. Okay. That means this occurs when theta equal 180 puti. That means both P and Q are into the opposite direction. Another somewhere. This is a short term. The minimum, instead of writing the entire word, I just short. That means both P and Q are into the opposite direction. P minus Q to the better in P minus Q. So, as an example, we are 10 Newton force is applied to right hand side. 4 Newton force is applied into the left hand side. Then the result means the resultant force is equal to 10 minus Q to the 10 minus Q. So this one is equal 6 Newton force. 6 Newton force into the right hand side. Okay. If you got this one, if you got my explanation, please raise the hand. Take on this one. I need responses from everyone. I need responses from everyone. Another. Thank you. Rashid Harun. Yeah. You can write down this thing, okay? You can write down this thing. Okay. Take your Putty. You taken. Actually, this theory part, this theory part is a very, very famous theory part in past papers. Putty. Sometimes you may be given uh, several forces. That means uh, you may be given two forces. Suppose 10 Newton and 4 Newton. You are given 10 Newton and 4 Newton forces. And so you know the maximum resultant vector, the maximum resultant force is 14 Newton because that is equal to the addition of those two forces or vectors. Then the minimum resultant vector is the subtraction, that means 10 minus 4, that means 6 Newton. Therefore, the resultant force of those two vectors can have a value in between 6 to 14, in between 6 to 14, because the maximum value is the maximum value is 14 minimum value is 6 Therefore, the resultant vector varies from the minimum to maximum. From the minimum to maximum. Therefore, any two, if you are given any two forces, their resultant can vary from its minimum value to maximum value. Therefore, the resultant vector should be like in between 6 and 14. 6 and 14. It is very clear. Any number, any variable number, if you are given any variable number, definitely that variable number should be in between its minimum value and maximum value. Its minimum value and maximum value. Okay, please listen to me very carefully. If you are given any variable number, if you are given any variable number, that variable number should be lie in between its minimum value and the maximum value. Its minimum value and the maximum value. Therefore, it is applicable, it can be applicable to this scenario. Therefore, the resultant vector should be equal or higher, than its minimum value. Or is smaller or equal than its maximum value. Therefore, resultant vector should be in between its minimum value and maximum value. Therefore, resultant vector should be higher than or equal to the minimum value and lower than or equal to its maximum value. Is that clear? If it is clear, please raise the hand. Take on this one. Therefore, resultant vector should be in between P minus Q and P plus Q. This is very, very important theory part. This is very, very important theory part. If you are given any two vectors, it's their resultant vector should be in between P minus Q and P plus Q. Therefore, R cannot be taken a value which is higher than P plus Q or which is lower than P minus Q. That is the most important lesson. What is that? R means the resultant force of any two vectors. Resultant vector. the resultant vector of any two vectors cannot get a value which is higher than P plus Q or which is lower than P minus Q. Is that clear? If it is clear, please raise your hand. තේරුණා සුසන්නේ. එහෙනම් R කවදාවත් P plus Q ට වඩා වැඩි වැලියු එකක් ගන්නත් බෑ. P minus Q ට වඩා අඩු වැලියු එකක් ගන්නත් බෑ. Okay. Therefore, R මේ දාන්න මුලින් දෙන්න වාක්‍යය. Where I done this? Therefore, let me දාගෙන කොට කරන්න. There I know that. That means R, capital R cannot get a value. That means R cannot get a value which is higher than P plus Q and lower than P minus Q. That means R cannot get a value which is higher than P plus Q and lower than P minus Q. Okay, suppose we are given 10 Newton and 4 Newton forces පුතේ. Therefore, the resultant force of those two forces, definitely it should be higher than the minimum value of 6 Newton and it can be higher than or equal, and it should be lower than or equal to its maximum value of 40 Newton. Therefore, definitely R should be in between 6 and 40. 6 and 40. Therefore, if you are given Okay, with it. Not R with it. Not R somewhere. It should be theta, no? Theta should be this occurs, theta is equal 180. This occurs when theta is equal 180. Sorry, 0. This occurs, theta is equal 0. This occurs when theta is equal 180. Okay. Not R. Uh, Actually, we cannot define a range for theta. Theta means the angle between two, actually, theta should be in between 0 to 180. It should be 0 to 180, but actually we cannot define a range for theta. Theta may be any value, the angle between two vectors can get any value in between 0 to 360 or 180. හරිද? අපි එකම පැත්තට බැලුවොත් එහෙම ඉතින් ඒක 360 එකයි යන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් අපි small angle එක විතරක් බැලුවොත් එහෙම ඒක අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් එකේ 0 to 180 කියලා. අපි හැම small angle එක විතරක් බැලුවොත් 0 to 180 range එකේ තියෙන්නේ. අපි එකම direction එකට බැලුවොත් 0 to 360 degree වෙනකන් වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. අපි angle එකක් කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. මොකද angle එක ඕන එකක් බැලුවක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් පුතේ. Angle may be any value. Okay. But according to that angle, the result cost may vary. So we are discussing this part. Again, අපි කතා කරන්න ඕනේ අපි ඒක. මොකද angle එකත් එක්ක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ result cost එක නිසා. හරි? අපි angle එක නිතරම මම ඊට පස්සේ අපි කතා කරනවා මම ඊළඟට කතා කරන්න ඕගොල්ලන්ට geometry වලින් කොහොමද මේක කතා කරන්න කියලා. ඒක කිව්වට පස්සේ අපිට angle එක ගැන ඕන වෙන කිසිම දෙයක් නැත්තේ. හරිද? ඔයාලා ටිකක් හිතන්න තියෙන්නේ මෙයාගේ arrangement එක විතරයි. arrangement එක ඉතුරු ගන්න ටක් දාලා උත්තර ගන්න පුළුවන් ආන්සර් ගන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. Okay. So this is not the case. That is not the case. That is not the case. Actually, this is a very famous theory part in A-level physics paper. Sometimes you may be given two forces. Two forces. Okay. Suppose you are given 4 Newton and 10 Newton. 4 Newton and 10 Newton forces. And you are asked, and also you are given some set of values. Some set of values for resultant forces. Some set of values of resultant forces. Then you may be asked, what would be the most possible resultant force set? What would be the most possible resultant force set? Then you need to determine, you need to understand this one. The resultant force cannot take a value higher than 40 Newton or lower than 6 Newton. Therefore, if there's a value which is higher than this value, then it won't be happen. It cannot be taken. If there's a value lower than 6 Newton, that value also is not a possible value. Therefore, you have to argue like this. If you are given two vectors, definitely the resultant vector should be in between p minus q and p plus q. The value cannot go beyond those two corners. Okay. You have to remember that thing when you are answering such kind of questions. Okay. Write down this. So once you write down this, please take the tube. Please take the tube. In MCQ question paper, turn into the MCQ questions. Please do the question number 12. Question number 12. Then question number 24. Question number 34. Question number 34. Question number 42. Question number 42. Very good. Question number 12. Twenty-four. 34 and 42. Tagga. Okay. Okay, Budhi. Can you look into question number 12? The maximum resultant of two forces acting at a point is 12 Newton and their minimum resultant is 4 Newton. Maximum is 12, minimum is 4 Newton. Then magnitude of two forces. Therefore, once you read this question, the maximum is 12 Pute. That means P plus Q is 12. Minimum is 4. Minimum is 4. Therefore, P minus Q is 4. Therefore, addition is 12. Minimum, sorry, subtraction is 4. Addition is 12. Subtraction of 4 is 4. Therefore, no need to solve this one. If you solve this one, if you add this one, 2p is equal to 16. That means p is 8. P is 8. Then definitely Q should be 4. Q should be 4. Therefore, answer is answer number 4. Answer is answer number 4. P is 4, Q is, sorry, P is 8, Q is 4. එකක් 8 Newton and එකක් 4 Newton. If you got that one, please raise the hand. If you got that one, please raise the hand. මෙච්චර ලියන්න තියෙන්නේ. No need to write anything. No need to write anything. And because this is a MCQ. Then, question number 24. The magnitude of two forces acting on a point are 20 Newton and 5 Newton. The maximum and minimum values of the resultant force. The maximum is the addition. The addition should be 25. Then minimum is subtraction. That means 15. Therefore, answer is 25 Newton and 15 Newton. Therefore, answer is answer number 3. Answer number 3. Okay. If you got that one, please raise the hand. Yeah, answer number 3. Thank you. Thirty-four. Answer number. Question number 34. What is the answer? Question number 34. What is the answer? I need my response to it. Question number 34. What is the answer? Question number 34. Very good. Others? What is the answer? Chris? Yosita? Samuel? Question number 34. What is the answer? Question number 34. Takka again. What is the answer? Question number 34. Two forces, magnitude of 10 Newton and 60 Newton. I need your responses. It will be better. Two forces, magnitude of 10 Newton and 16 Newton act upon a body. The direction of the forces are unknown. The resultant force on the body is the resultant force on the body. You are given two forces, but you don't have the directions. Now you are asked to determine the resultant force. So in between 6 Newton and 10 Newton, in between 4 Newton and 16 Newton, more than 6 Newton, more than 10 Newton, less than 4 Newton. So what is the answer? You are given two forces, one force is 10 Newton, other force is 6 Newton. Therefore, definitely it should be in between 16 and 4. 16, because addition is 16, subtraction is 4. Okay. Therefore, definitely, no matter what is the angle is, definitely the resultant force in between 4 Newton and 6 Newton. Therefore, answer is answer number B. If you got that down, please raise the hand. Ethayuna tusan. හරි. ප්‍රශ්නය කරන්න. ඊළඟට question number 42. A particle is simultaneously pulled by two forces, 3 Newton and 4 Newton. The net force on the particle, sorry, the net force on the particle is, that means now there's a particle and simultaneously there are two forces exerted on that particle, 3 Newton and 4 Newton. You are asked to determine what would be the net force exerted on that particle. So what is the answer? What is the answer? What is the answer? There are two forces acting on the particle. One is 3 Newton, other one is 4 Newton. So what is the net force? Yes, very good, Pute. Very good. The answer is correct. Others, Panithya Karangali. What is the answer? Definitely it should be in between the addition and the subtraction, no? Addition and the subtraction. Definitely it should be, because we are not given the angle. Therefore, we cannot say some exact value for resultant force. We cannot say. We can only say a range. A range. The resultant or net force should be in between 4 minus 3. Subtraction is 1 Newton, addition is 7 Newton. It should be in between 1 Newton and 7 Newton. We cannot say an exact value because we are not given the angle. In such cases, we can say a range. The range should be in between the minimum value and the maximum value. Is that clear? If it is clear, please raise the hand. Anyone question? පොඩ්ඩක් කතාබහක් කරමු හොඳද? නැත්නම් මේක ඔන්ලයින් ක්ලාස් එකක්නේ. ඔන්ලයින් ක්ලාස් එක නැත්නම් ටික වෙලාවක් යද්දි බෝරින් වෙනවා. හරි. නයිතුනි. එළියම අර බූත් ගෝස් වලට අකුල් ගණනාවේ ඉන්නේ. කටක් හොල්ලන්නේ නැහැ. හරි අමාරුයි ඒක. Okay. Now we can go to the next theory session. Theory lesson. Now we are discussing about some special cases today. So under that cases, the next topic is the resultant force, the resultant vector, the resultant vector when theta is 90 degrees. The resultant vector when theta is equal to 90 degrees. Now you are given two forces or two vectors to the Q and P. Which are perpendicular to each other. Now you have to determine their resultant. Therefore, it is very clear. R square is equal P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos. Now the angle is 90. Put the angle is 90. So what is the value of cos 90? Tell me what is the value of cos 90? Cos 90, what is the value? Yoshita, Chris, what is the value? Here, it is 0. Yes, that is 0. Yes, put very good. 0, that is 0. This part is 0. Therefore, when the two forces are perpendicular, two forces, not only forces, any vector, the forces mean one vector, one type of vector. If the given vectors are perpendicular to each other, then the resultant vector is equal p squared plus q squared to it. Because this part is 0. R squared is equal p squared plus q squared. P squared plus q squared. That means R is equal to square root of p squared plus q squared. P squared plus q squared. Okay. You can take this one using the basic trigonometry, the basic geometrical applications for the geometrical plus trigonometry. So you have to complete when you are determining this kind of resultant force, you have to complete a polygon. Parallelogram. You have to complete a parallel. So you can complete the parallel. If you complete the parallelogram, definitely, this is the parallel. Now this is this angle is 90. This is Q. Therefore, this side also Q would be. This side also Q. P Q. Therefore, if you consider about this A B C triangle, ABC triangle is a right angle triangle. ABC triangle is a right angle triangle, and AC means that is a hypotenuse of the right angle triangle. Therefore, if you apply Pythagoras theorem, to this triangle, R squared is equal P squared plus P squared. R squared is equal P squared plus P squared. And this angle, if this angle is alpha, then definitely tan alpha is equal opposite side. Opposite side means this value. Opposite side value. Opposite side, that means Q over adjacent side P. Q over P, therefore alpha is equal to tan inverse Q over P. Tan inverse Q over P. And you can take R squared using Pythagoras theorem. Applying Pythagoras theorem. Theorem to ABC triangle. Then AC squared or R squared is equal AB squared P squared plus Q squared. So you can do the same derivation using your geometrical and trigonometrical knowledge. Is that clear? If it is clear, please raise the hand. හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න අද අපි කතා කරන්න පුතේ කොහොමද ජියොමෙට්‍රිකල් තියරි දාලා මේ වැඩේ කරන්න කියලා වෙක්ටර් අපි කතා කරන්න කියලා. ඒ නිසා මම තාම මම ඔය MCQ කරේ නැත්තේ ඒකයි. මොකද ඒ ෂෝට් මෙතඩ්ස් ටික මම අද කියන්නේ. හරිද? අපි මෙතන අපි මේ බ්‍රේකින් පස්සේ ඉස්සරහට අපි කතා කරන්නේ කොහොමද මේ අපි කතා කරන දේවල් ජෙනෙටිකල් තියරි දාලා බොහොම ලේසි. කිසිම ඒ කියන්නේ ලියන්නේවත් උතෝ කොහොමද අක්කර හිතෙන් ආන්සර් එක ගන්න. කොහොමද හිතෙන් ආන්සර් එක ගන්න කියලා මම කියලා දෙන්නම්. Okay. Write down this two. මේක ලියාගන්න.
පටාසින් පටන් ගන්න. පටන් අරන් දෙමේ 7ට පටන් දෙන්න ඕක දැන් ඉවර කරන්නත් නෑ. ඔව්.
Okay, have you finished? Have you finished studying? If you finish studying, please let me know. Okay. When you finish studying, please give me a thumb, then I can understand you have done the work. Okay. Then, so this is valid when two vectors, when the two vectors are perpendicular to each other. Now, we can discuss when the resultant vector, that means R, is perpendicular to the smaller vector. That is the next case to be. Okay. So write a topic. When R is perpendicular when R is perpendicular to the smaller vector. When R is perpendicular to the smaller vector, smaller vector. When R is perpendicular to the smaller vector. This should be smaller vector, Pute. This should be smaller vector. R cannot be perpendicular to the larger vector. I will explain why. R cannot be perpendicular to the larger vector. It cannot be happen. But R can be perpendicular to the smaller vector. If you are given such a case, then how to solve the question? Pute, if you can think, if you can think this question using your geometrical knowledge, it will be very easy. Actually, you have to this is about vector parallelogram theorem. This is about vector parallelogram theorem. Therefore, when you are calculating the resultant vector, you have to construct a parallelogram. Therefore, if you can understand the properties of that parallelogram, it will be very easy to solve the question. Therefore, when you are given a question like that, convert that knowledge, convert that given data into a geometrical figure. Then it is very easy to think. Okay. Now here, R is perpendicular to the smaller vector. We can take any vector as a smaller vector. Okay. In that case, I'm going to take P is the smaller vector P. Okay. Now R is perpendicular to that smaller vector. R is perpendicular to that smaller vector. Therefore, this is R. If this one is R, R means the resultant force is perpendicular to the smaller vector. I'm going to take the smaller vector as Q, not P. Now you know this should be the diagonal. This should be diagonal. Therefore, you have to construct the relevant parallelogram. So this should be one side of the parallelogram. The other side should be equal. Therefore, this should be Q. This should be Q. This should be P. Therefore, definitely in this case, the angle between P and Q should be a obtuse angle. It should be obtuse angle. Otherwise, R cannot be perpendicular to P. So, therefore, definitely this should be an obtuse angle. That angle also, it can be determined. This angle can be determined too. So if this one is the alpha, you know, this is 90, this one is 90, this is the diagonal. Therefore, these two sides are parallel to each other. These two sides are parallel to each other. Okay. Therefore, if this one is alpha, this one also alpha. Is it angle? This one also equal to F. So you know this one is Q. Therefore, this side should be also equal to Q. This side also should be also equal to Q because these two sides are equal in length. Therefore, if we consider one ABC triangle, so this ABC triangle should be a right angle triangle. ABC triangle should be a right angle triangle. So in this case, look at this one. R is perpendicular to one force. That force means vector. R is the resultant vector is perpendicular to the smaller vector. If it is perpendicular, then definitely the paradigm should be like this. If you understood this geometrical figure, please raise your hand. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, if you can understand this geometrical figure, how to determine R? This side is P, this side is Q. How to determine R? Tanggal again. How to determine R? Propose me a solution. How to determine R? Propose me a way. Way means method. How to determine R? Now you know. Now you know how to determine R because you have enough knowledge. You have enough knowledge. Now it is a right angle triangle. So you can easily determine that. What the fuck? Yes, very good. Anita, Saranya, Yosita, Chris, how did you determine that? How did you determine that?
R squared is equal to Q squared minus P squared.
Yes, very good. Very good. You can just apply Pythagoras principle, no? Pythagoras theorem, no? So if you can figure out this arrangement, you have to figure out the arrangement only. If you can figure out the arrangement, then you can easily apply geometrical theorems to determine R. Therefore, applying Pythagoras theorem to ABC triangle. Therefore, P square plus Q square is equal, so P square plus R square is equal to Q square today. P square plus R square is equal to Q square. Therefore, R square is equal to Q square minus P square today. Where I Q square minus P square killing. Q square minus P square. Therefore, R is equal to square root Q square minus P square. Well, then sometimes the subtraction of those two square may be sometimes difficult. So in such cases, you can apply difference of squares. And no need to square this one separately and square this one separately and get the subtraction. You can just take the difference of squares. It will be very easy. How to take difference of squares? Q minus P into Q plus P. The square root of Q minus P into Q plus P. This may be easy than taking the square root sometimes. Then, not only that, you can also determine the alpha value. Therefore, it is very easy to determine alpha value, sin alpha. Sin alpha is equal P over Q. Opposite side over the hypotenuse. P over Q. From that, you can determine alpha. Alpha is equal sin inverse P over Q. තියෙන විදියට කියන්නේ නේ. එන විදිහට හදන්න. දැන් මම මෙතන ගත්ත අල්ෆත් එක තමයි මෙහෙම. මම මෙතන මේ ගත්ත අල්ෆත් එක තමයි මේ ඕගොල්ලෝ දීලා තියෙන විදිහට ඕගොල්ලෝ හදන්න. සමහර වෙලාවට ඕගොල්ලන්ට දෙන්න පුළුවන් මේ මෙයා ඇංගල් මෙන්න මෙතන ඇංගල් එක දෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. සමහර වෙලාවට මෙයා හොරිසොන්ටලි මෙන්න මෙයාට මෙච්චර ඇංගල් එකක් තියෙනවද දෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. එහෙම දෙන්න. එහෙම දුන්නොත් ඉතින් මෙතන ඇල්ෆා ගත්තත් එහෙම තමයි ඇංගල් එකක් ගත්තත් ඒකම ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා කොහොම හරි කරන්න ඕනේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දීලා තියෙන මේ data ටික geometrical figure එකට දාගන්න. මාර්ලීස් එක. Okay, look into this again. As I told you earlier, R can be perpendicular to P. P means smaller vector. And as I told you earlier, R cannot be perpendicular to larger vector. What is the reason? What is the reason? R cannot be perpendicular to the large vector. You know, if you consider about if R is perpendicular to one of these two vectors, definitely this triangle should be a right angle triangle. If R is perpendicular to one of these two vectors, this triangle should be a right angle triangle. So, if it is perpendicular to the larger side means definitely larger side should be a hypotenuse. Larger side should be a hypotenuse. You know, if we consider about right angle triangle, these two sides cannot be perpendicular to the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is perpendicular to the Therefore, any of these two vectors, that means R or P, cannot be perpendicular with Q. Cannot be perpendicular with Q. Therefore, R cannot be perpendicular to the larger vector. But it can be perpendicular to the small vector. Therefore, you have to remember that thing. R cannot be perpendicular to the larger vector. Okay. Write down this thing. Whether 11. Okay. Then mark these questions. Take your tute. Take the tute. Take the tute. Then turn into the third page. Turn into the third page. This page. Okay. Now you can do the question number 6. Question number 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 40. 40. Okay. But now it is 9:30, 9:30. You can take a small break, okay? You can take a small break, and after that you can do these questions. So you have to do these questions because I have to discuss that many questions within the class. So I can discuss how to apply geometrical theorems into these questions. Okay. So you have to remember the features of parallels when you are doing this kind of question using geometrical theorem. Okay. Anyway, now you can try out these questions and you can also take a small break. Therefore, all together, we can start our new lesson. New lesson means discussion of these lessons, these questions, discussion of these questions at dinner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 3 minutes for one question. 30 minutes for enough, no? 30 minutes enough for this, we're doing these questions and 30 minutes for break. Okay, we will start discussion around 10:30. Around 10:30, please log into the class because after that session, our YouTube session will be over. Therefore, please log into the class to do those questions. Okay, now you can take a break. Now you can take a break. Take a break and do these questions. Break क्या करना अतरे मेरे करना break क्या करके ना मेरे करना. Then please log into the class at 10:30. Okay. මම දැන් YouTube session එක ඉවර කරන්න අපොතේ YouTube session එක ඉවර කරනවා 10:30 වලට අසරක් log වෙන්න. මම එතනදී අපි discussion එක කරමු. හරි.